I don't hear him is because he's on another property.
Well, does he go over to other properties or?
Not usually.
So when was last time Ken was on a tractor and this happened, or?
Last summer. He got attacked by ground bees.
Wow, was it bad?
Yeah. Well, this is my highest point on the property.
And he didn't take his truck.
No, he's definitely on the John Deere tractor. I'm hoping it's just a situation where he's just gone. But here he comes right now.
Man, he's going fast.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Holy mackerel. So he's on the road. He's cruising with that thing.
Oh yeah.
So we better.
He is almost like a young boy with his first vehicle a lot of times. Got to check and see how fast it'll go.
Really?
He's somewhere in there. There's still a 16-year-old kid that says, "I bet my tractor can go faster than yours."
Well, we better catch up with him because I don't know if this truck will go fast enough to catch Ken.
This one probably
the 95-year-old guy on his tractor who's run loose on
500 east.
Oh, there he is.
Yep, there he is.
So we get a shot of Ken here. Oh.
Get past these limbs that are going to block everything.
Well, here's the good news.
Yeah.
At least it's not a police vehicle bringing him home.
Well, it wouldn't be a police vehicle.
There he goes.
Well, I wondered where you were. Well, Rick showed up and he says, "Where's Ken?" And I listened for a tractor. I said, "I don't think he's here. Let's go drive and find him."
So we saw you going down the street.
Oh.
And I said to Pam, I said, you know, do you have the speed meter? Because it looks like he's speeding. I think you better pull him over and give him a ticket.
There you go.
All right. So what time did you get out here this morning? On this Monday morning?
Gosh, I don't know. A couple hours ago, I guess.
Okay. So, well, what was your thought when you came out here on this Monday morning?
Didn't have any thoughts. I was blanked out.
Really?
Well, I don't know. You mean about what?
Oh, what you're going to do on Monday morning?
Well, there wasn't too much to do. The mowing was to be done, and then of course there's always pruning up here.
So Ken, you're 95, right?
Yep.
All right. So tell me what's a good day? I mean, when you're out here, what's a good day?
Oh well, there's no need of me working much longer. 3:30.
Okay. So do you have goals when you come out here? You just
no.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah, not a goal. Don't fall flat on your face.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, don't drop dead out someplace, and they won't find your body for a long time. These trees are big, and I'm going to and getting the bottoms. And of course, there's ladder work, but we don't necessarily have to do that right now. This is a strange year.
What's strange?
Well, the weather and the crop and what there is and what there isn't. This is my constant companion.
Really?
Yep. If it wasn't so sharp, I'd probably put it in my bed. Well, you do a lot of pruning. It isn't just winter, it's just all.
Now, is there a best time to prune?
Well, yes. Approaching spring.
I hung out with Ken for an entire season, never really knowing what we talk about or where it would lead to.
I used to take the tractor and we disc, and an extra can of gas because the tractor wouldn't go all day. And
he seemed to know the answer to just about every question I had.
in Rowan Prairie, it was Spencer. And there's Mrs. Spencer.
And it made me wonder why so many of us never really take the time to just hang out with people like Ken Williams.
I ought to mow this. I'm getting somewhere I don't like to walk through unmowed areas. My horsepower is going down.
Now, do you have a particular kind of work shoe that you like to get, or?
Well, yes. Generally, they make that too big and great big gold soles. I don't like those rough soles because you get some mud in those things and you can't ever get it out. Now you know what this is?
Looks like an apple.
That's an apple scab.
So pull that off. Show me what that is.
That starts early on when there's the first growth that there is, scab spores. There's 8 of them in a little sack and they'll be round. Then when the moisture comes, it is going, they're just in the air and then they land on the leaves when they're wet. You pick the strain. It brings out the worst in some people and some people the best.
Now, what are you doing there? Are you thinning them?
Thinning, yeah. Yeah, you see, someone got a spot. You can have triples, but that's about all.
Do you ever get kids from LaPorte? I mean,
You mean American kids?
yeah, those kind.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I'd have to put in a Coke machine.
Yep.
Probably some of the mothers would want to come with them.
Okay.
You'd think we had some young communists out. We used to do that, but kids don't need the money now, basically. So it changes their attitude.
Well, don't some of them do it for the experience? I mean,
No, I don't think so. No. Maybe it's odd when if someone thought they might go into business or anything.
okay. So what do you think? What's the future? What's the future of apple orchard farming?
Oh, it's good, but it's going to be done so different. Well, these are nice ladders, golly. We've had different kind of ladders, wood. These are made in California, I guess. This is unusual. This is the first year we've had apples this late.
You know, it seems like it was kind of an odd year.
It was. It started late, I guess, and the crop is big, and yeah, usually we're cleaned up by this time.
So what year is this for you?
What do you mean? What year?
Well, how old were you in your first year when you came out and did exactly what you're doing? How old were you?
Born in 1918, and I didn't have to start until I guess 1920.
1920? 1920? I'm not even sure I can count back that far. I mean, even if Ken didn't start out here until 1925, or even 1928, Ken Williams has been picking apples and climbing these trees for almost 85 years. I mean, think about it. When he started out here, there was no electricity, no running water, no telephone, TV, not even a microwave. I'm not exactly sure why I'm doing all this, but it's fascinating to me to be hanging out with a guy who's been doing the same thing for almost 85 years, and who still loves coming to work. Here's something else I noticed. This guy never stops. As you're watching this, count how many times he actually stops to answer a question, or even breaks a sweat for that matter. He told me recently that he's third-generation farmer, and that his grandfather, Benjamin Franklin Williams, built the first house on the property with his grandma around 1850. He never knew his grandfather, who passed on early from a Civil War injury, but Ken knew his grandmother well, who raised 7 children on her own. She was a pillar, and like so many women back in the Rolling Prairie days, a foundation for the farm you see today.
Oh,
No, I started like kids do. 10, 11, whatever a kid would do around the farm.
right.
Yep.
And being 10 or 11, who was in charge?
Me. No, you just did the little thing. We had horses then. I started for about 3 years, even spraying, with horses, pulling the sprayer.
Right.
And it was a happy day when I went down and bought a regular old International 1020 with lugs in 1933. Warren's had a big farm down by Three Oaks, and they had a sale. And we bought that tractor for $129.
So you were born in 1918.
Yeah.
So 1928, you'd have been 10.
Yep.
And by 1928, you were out here.
Well, I was in school, and you did what you did, and the stuff maybe after school, yeah. Well, most of the kids I went to school with did that. It was a farm community.
Now, back in 1928, did you have these baskets at the time? Or was it bags, or how did...
No, well, originally it was barrels. Yeah, barrels. My dad started out on barrels.
Wow.
That's that would be something, but they did.
Now, when you hire labor, do you pay them by the hour, or do you pay them by the bushel, or by the...
Well, we used to be by the bushel when we were really rolling along with by the hour now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started out at 15 cents an hour. Then 20. My brother got 25. He was older than I was. I thought, man, if I could just get up to 25, I'd have it made. And then it went to 40 cents, and stayed at 40 cents for quite a long time. And then all of a sudden it got to 75, and then she kind of took off. Of course, you bought a lot with it.
Okay, so I got to ask you, what are you up to today? How much they pay you an hour today?
Well, they're picking. They pay $12 an hour.
All right. So you're heading in the right direction
Yep.
there.
I wonder how many half bushels Ken has picked over the years. I'll bet it's been well over 500,000 bushels. All by hand, standing on a ladder, feeling the warmth of the sun, and listening to nobody but the sound of Mother Nature. And his own thoughts.
How many acres do you have out here?
Well, I don't know. I'd say 100, but we have had basically 30 acres of peaches and 30 acres of apples.
Okay.
That's and the peach business, they're quite short-lived.
But you still do it.
Well, yeah, I like the peach business.
Why do you like the peach business?
Well, it just moves faster. Yeah. Well, I like both of them, but the peach business really moves. Well, all these baskets are made for different people. They're different. Some of them won't come out, because a little bit different. Still half a bushel.
Do you know where the baskets come from, or?
Well, Benton Harbor was just full of basket factories, and they had 2 or 3 of them. They would make them. Then they had these big porches on. They'd put a woven wire fence, and they'd stack them out there to dry. You see, they take a log and peel it. You ever see them make baskets? That's something. They take and peel this from a log, and it runs out maybe. Well, they just turn it on a lathe, and it may run out there 20 or 30 feet. And then they cut it crossways to get these little slits here. And you can either get them ventilated, like for peaches, and put them together and leave little slots, or you can get them like this. Now, these harnesses were made in Coloma, and Usually they have these adjustable ones and all. And you're always fussing around and sliding out and stuff. And this was kind of set up like this, and it's a nice way of doing it. See, we used to pick everything in bags, and they still do, like Garwoods and them do, and dump it out of the bottom of the bag. And so and not everybody fusses around with a half bushel, I guess, like we do.
So Ken, tell me, what kind of apples are you picking here?
These are Jonagold.
What other varieties do you guys grow here?
Well, these are Jonagold, and those are Golden Delicious. There, Jonathan, and smaller amounts of other kinds. We used to pick more Grimes Golden than anything else. A yellow apple, and it's too bad that Grimes it's just going out of the picture.
Why is that?
Well, because it's yellow.
That's it?
Yep. Oh yeah, they couldn't hardly sell yellow apples for a while, but then people, that had a nice aroma. That was a nice apple.
What was it called?
Grimes Golden. And
So you can pretty much look at an area of the tree and know that you're going to get a half bushel.
well, not necessarily, but you go up when you're empty and pick what you can. Sometimes then if you got around the bottom, then you walk around and finish it. I've been trying to get a new pair of new knees, but it hasn't come yet.
Still got the same knees?
What?
Still got the same knees?
Yeah, I got the same knees.
So do you have a goal today as far as how many you want to pick?
Well, I just didn't. We got guys that should and could be picking, but I didn't bring in too many baskets, so I wouldn't get discouraged. I'll pick 2 more, and then it'll be lunchtime. My, she has a good business.
What's your favorite thing to eat there?
The BLT and a side of broccoli. I can just go in and say just the usual. Want to get these? Here's a couple of chicks.
A couple of chicks.
Hi, Mr. Williams. You're okay? How you doing? You're okay?
Yeah.
Do you want your usual? We're out of broccoli salad. Do you want to try the pasta salad? Sure. Is that okay with you?
Does it surprise you that your dad is still out there climbing the trees
No, it doesn't surprise me at all because he's so healthy and he eats oatmeal every morning, which is one of his secrets to longevity. So if you don't eat oatmeal, you better start now. And it's just funny because, my brother and I have been retired for a long time and Dad's never going to retire, so.
And you were a young man of probably 75 then.
Oh yeah. I remember.
What was he doing?
In a ditch with a man his own age. We had a water sewer project in town, and he jumped right in there with a dang shovel. He must have been every bit of 75 then.
I think.
Oh, was it your house over there? And
Yeah. I see. Well,
you were crazy then, and you haven't gotten any better.
Thank you. Any other thought on his longevity and zest for life? I mean,
Well, I gotta say, he does not take any medications. And, we used to say you should take a baby aspirin a day, but he really didn't get into that. So other than just a little knee surgery, he's never had a surgery, and he's never been on medication. He does take a few vitamins once in a while. So I'd say go au naturel, not a bad way to go.
His positive attitude and energy. He is always a happy man. I've known him since I was a very tiny child, and he is always friendly, happy. The world is shining, and he's just a great guy. I worked for him when I was a teenager selling his peaches. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. One summer in between school years. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, he wasn't a harsh employer at all.
Is your dad frugal?
I would say, you know, he grew up in the Depression, so I would say he's pretty frugal. We've all been buying him new lunch pails. We're trying to get him to carry a new lunch pail, but he seems pretty content with the old raggedy ones. So, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, except it's kind of broke.
Okay, now rumor has it you have a pretty significant lunchbox. Is that true?
Well, no, not necessarily. Just a sandwich. And...
Oh, I'm not saying what's in it, but the lunchbox itself.
Oh,
Somebody said.
Oh yeah.
You know, they said that's the Ken special lunchbox.
My kids get a honk out of that. No, they're just a sandwich and some peaches.
You know, actually one of his grandsons bought him a really cool red one with a zipper and everything fits, so I'd see him in the morning packing that lunch pail and I'd say, "Hey Dad, that lunch pail's really working." He said, "Yeah, there's a zipper for everything." And I said, "So how long are you going to be carrying that?" And he said, "How long are you here for?" And I said, 2 days. He said, "Probably about 2 days."
So why don't you want a new lunchbox, or why do you stick with this?
You sound like my kids. They've bought me several of them, but they're bigger square ones and stuff, and this does it.
So when I left, he went back to the old one. So, you know, he's a man that, you know, can get by with the simple things in life. So that's all good.
Would you say he's a creature of habit?
No, I would say for his age, he's really a very open person who's been open to a lot of challenges. As kids he's got some very liberal children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and he just hangs tough with all of it.
Red Delicious. It used to be so popular, but not anymore.
Was it your dad that built that, or your mom, or the first house, which is over there? Do you know?
Well, golly sakes, that house was there when they came back from the Civil War. It was, there is a picture of Grandpa out there in a chair, and when that was built in, so I don't know when, 1850 or. They lived, their dining room was a dirt floor. People in those days seemed to have the kitchen they used, and then you had a kind of the dirt floor, and then they would go on past to the next room for the evening and light that stove, you know. That's kind of what they did. I'd go and we'd go out and build fire in the evening and around in the woods and stuff.
So you didn't have electricity out here when you were a kid?
33. Excuse me, I got one more basket here to do. And golly, you'll know so much about farming, you'll probably go in business and run us out of business now.
I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon.
Okay. Well,
Rest assured. Rest assured.
yeah, well, that's good.
You know,
then.
because I'm 55 and I'm way too old to be doing this.
Oh
stuff
yeah,
there.
at 55, you wouldn't want to hardly start out like
No,
that.
no.
Well, I don't know how I got this old, but the guy asked me one time, I said, well, just don't die. And that seems to be what it is.
So how many bushels do you like to get picked a day?
Well, it used to be, now these are half bushels.
Okay.
We used to think once in a while you could pick 100. You're picking all day and then good picking. But you didn't do that very much.
All right, and of course you had wooden ladders back then, I would think.
Oh yes.
All right, what was the fundamental difference between today? What's the fundamental difference between today, what you're doing right now, and when you first started as a kid? Tell me what the differences are.
Not too much. Well, everything just kind of changes a little bit. And of course, I'm kind of the father figure here. I'm just kind of working part-time. We've got some good help. Our Mexican man, he'll pick about 3 truckloads of these a day. If you do these all day, you can get tired.
Was there ever a time or an age where you thought maybe I'm getting too old for this? And
Oh, not necessarily, because what else would you do? When I was younger, I had money, and I took a course and got so I could sell stocks through Sibrel at South Bend, and I did that. But you know, most of the people would buy a little bit from me just because they knew me and stuff, and that didn't work out. But that's what you do, is you're kind of figuring things out. That bringing your hand down each time, when we had the black guys we'd get up from Georgia, they didn't do that on peaches. They pick and they just kind of roll them off of their chest, and they were really volume pickers. We had 31 of them one year down in the bunkhouse, and I'll tell you true, that was something. We'd go in and we had to counter on a basket turner. You fill the baskets upside down, because through the turner, when it hit 1,000, it kind of a celebration. The wife would bring out a little lunch about 4:30, then sometimes we'd be there till 10, almost 10 o'clock. And they'd come up in the Greyhound bus and go to Michigan City and pick up maybe a dozen men or so.
what year was that?
Oh golly, 30s and 40s, I guess. They were volume pickers. I think it was 17 cents. Which doesn't seem like anything, but it kind of fitted the way the money was, what 17 cents would do in those days.
So was it 17 cents a half bushel or?
No, a bushel.
A bushel, okay.
A bushel, yes.
How do you measure your annual yield? Is it in bushels or what?
All in bushels.
In bushels, okay.
But we don't really know because we're doing it like this. If we were packing, like I said in that year when we packed 33,000, we knew that.
Wait, you packed 33,000 bushels?
Yes. And we probably had, I don't know, at least 10,000 or more.
Well, if some kid came to you today and said, Ken, I want to get into the orchard business, and what advice do you have for me?
Well, pretty much in any kind of farming, you've got to be a junior partner with a senior. Your dad or your uncle. And you read about it in successful farming where after they have done that, then they go ahead and buy what they can. But it takes most all of your life to get the land paid for. course, land is stays right up there now. And of course, a lot of the reasons some of the orchards are taken out, they put in housing, just like down in Florida. Used to get down there and there'd be an orchard there, and you get down 2 years later, and there'd be houses all over it.
Right.
Yeah. And you grow houses. There isn't much left out here.
So what are you doing today?
I'm just kind of monkeying around. I come out here to pick. Ought to see what there was. Don't know what else to do. These apples now, we have enough to sell, so they just go to.
So tell us what usually goes on November 4th out here at the orchard.
Well, not very much. It's just a wrap-up time. We're just picking what there is left, and we have those apples, so we'll be selling them, but it's a little bit late for people to come out now. It's just too cold. That sounds like the best idea we've had. We didn't end up with apples like this other years. This is a little bit strange.
Well, it's been fun hanging out here, passing through with my camera and seeing how all this works. Watching this keeper of the orchard become one with nature.
Yep, I'll meet you up there.
You know, I never realized that this experience would be such an inspiration. I mean, I'm probably too old to start climbing ladders, but it sure makes me feel like trying. You know, the great thing I learned from Ken Williams about picking apples is that if it doesn't work out this season, there's always the next. So, see you next year, Ken.